Hey, Mrparka here to review a new one from Arrow Films USA. I believe this was released in the UK as well. This is Caltiki the Immortal Monster. This movie was made in 1959 by Riccardo Freda, but a lot of people and scholars believe and cohorts and stuff believe that Mario Bava pretty much directed this movie. You guys should be familiar with Mario Bava. He is probably the most iconic Italian horror director of all time, with films like Blood and Black Lace and Black Sabbath, Black Sunday, a slew of others. So yeah, Caltiki's a little bit different from the stuff that Mario Bava's and Riccardo Freda, for that matter, are really known for. It's a mixture of like the 50s science fiction movies from America and some of the classic Universal stuff. Even the soundtrack kind of reminds me of the classic Universal stuff. That stuff in the like the classic Frankenstein and stuff like that. But it's an Italian film, but made to look like American, so it would sell better. Essentially, what we have here is a group of archaeologists trying to figure out the secret where the Mayans disappeared. So they go into these jungles and they're looking around, and they stumble across this weird creature. It's more so a blob made out of like trite, like cow trite. I think that's cow intestines and stuff. And this thing starts eating people. They bring it back. They somehow contain it and bring it back to the civilization, Mexico City, when not actually filmed in Mexico City. And of course, they start to dig into the past and start to look for the signs and the legend of what this thing actually is. And it's looking for some sort of groom from the sky. And pretty soon you realize that it's going to come, and it's coming, and everybody's in a lot of danger. This movie is pretty cool for the fact that, of course, it is like they equate it to being kind of a ripoff of the Quatermass Experiment and the Blob and stuff like that. And yeah, it does share its similarities, but it has that kind of Bava was a master at doing in-camera tricks and stuff like that, and it shows here. His sets and his special effects are so fun and so elaborate, and also so cheap, but so they work so well, and they're a lot of fun. Like the way he does it to make matte paintings, the way he uses those is spectacular, and miniatures and fun things like that. It's so simple yet effective, and he was a king at that, and it shows here. I'm not as familiar with Riccardo Freda's movies, as Bava's movies. He was more of did a lot of the adventure films and Hercules movies and stuff like that, which is not really something I know a lot about, but he did do some giallo later on. So yeah, I can see the stuff that Bava in here did more so. It's strange because it is very Italian, but it's also very 50s style American, so the dialogue can be a little stiff. I watched the American English, well, the English audio. Most people recommend watching the Italian because the English was kind of the sound score was the soundtrack, or the track was kind of messed up. They had to pull from multiple elements, but it doesn't really affect it all that bad, I didn't think. I thought the movie flowed well. The lead is stiff, but he fits that kind of profile from that time frame. The villain in the movie is spectacular. Not only do we have to deal with this man-eating, growing, splitting blob, but we have to deal with this man who is touched by the blob, who has had a sinister edge to him already and now is going completely insane. A lot of people will recognize this guy. He's a German actor. He's from The Big Gun Down, where he plays this kind of this weird, bizarre villain. He's a great villain in that, and he's a great villain in this. He's got a really unique face, a very memorable face, and portrays his evilness in his face very well. There's lots of good shadows in here. The movie is in black and white, so you get that classic photography that looks so cool, and you can hide a lot of the edges of the special effects that he does. All in all, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't really even heard of it, which is kind of a shame. I can't believe that. Arrow picked it up, did a great remastering of it. It looks cool. You can watch it. It looks great. I mean, you can watch it in Italian or English. The crazy thing about this one is the special features here are so abundant that it took me a while to get through. You can watch it in the full aperture mode, so you can see more of Bava's effects, which are really crafted well and fun, like I said before. You can watch it with two commentaries. If you watch it with the Tim Lucas commentary, you will immediately feel like you're wasting your time talking or even watching movies, because this man knows a lot. And also, you can watch it with the Troy Horvath, I believe his name is. He's also an expert on Bava and Italian films. These guys just know so much stuff, and it's hard to keep up. You only can pick up so many, facts and factoids and stuff that they say. Those are both great. And then there's an interview with Kim Newman. So if you already didn't feel dumb enough, they basically take you to what is it? take you to school when they do a lot of stuff, and it's an 18-minute interview with them, and then they poured all over all the archival footage from the old No Shame disc. I didn't know this was released on No Shame, but I guess it was. So you get the interview with Luigi Cozzi, the director, and stuff like that, talking about and film critics talking about Riccardo Freda and Bava, and the intricacies of how they found out that Bava probably directed this movie. But they mostly think, it's all the writer Bava and the director. Pretty much it's all their child, but no one really wants to take credit for it. So it makes you think that maybe Bava is a little too shy, and Freda it just doesn't like the movie really. But it's a great release. It looks good. The cover art's great, and I'd say really check this one out, especially if you like the 50s horror movies or the Italian movies. And even if you don't like this sort of thing, it's interesting to watch to see the horror films kind of grow and where they came from and where they go into. So I'm Mrparka. This was released April 25th and probably April 24th in the UK, April 25th in the United States. You guys have a good one, and check out the video at the end. Hopefully there's a trailer.
Ma è la dea Caltiki quella. Siamo in un tempio sotterraneo dei Maya, è una scoperta formidabile.
Caltiki? Avverta la polizia, l'esercito. Occorrono dei lanciafiamme. Solo con il fuoco si può distruggere quel mostro.
Bava fans will get a sense of deja vu from this zoomed shot of a hand rising up from the ground, which is very much like the shot of Javutic rising from his grave in Black Sunday.
And with his financial situation secure, Freda felt free to approach filmmaking as something of a hobby, something to be done when he felt like it and under his own terms.
HP Lovecraft never explained how to pronounce Cthulhu properly. And the version I just used probably isn't the one that he would have recognized.
Poverissimo, estremamente rappresentativo di una maniera di pensare il cinema che era tipica della fine degli anni 50 in Italia.
Not a single person was left behind, and the city remained deserted.